Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Nicola and today we are gonna do a practice for the first quarter of the moon or the waxing moon. So it's after the new moon and then the period until we arrive to the full moon. So hopefully during the new moon we set our goals, our intentions for the lunar cycle, and now it's the time to really work on them and put them into practice and make the dreams and ideas come true and come into reality. So today's practice will be fairly strong. We will be doing some core work. We will also be opening our heart and our hips to be more receptive and also to maybe release and just let go of any emotions that are no longer serving us. So we just want to release anything that is old and just get rid of all the junk that we might still be holding in our body. You won't be needing any props for this practice, but maybe have two blocks at hand if you will need them for some extra support in some of the poses that we will be doing. So we will begin today's practice with a short pranayama, with the breathing technique that is called breath of fire. And it will help us really to get things moving in our body and to really warm our body up. So then the focus is brought on the exhales, which are strong and active, and the inhales are passive. So I will just demonstrate first and then we will try to do them together. So it's just a short inhale, passive, and a forceful exhale, active. This will really build up some heat in the body and we will be ready for our practice. So if you want, you can join me. You can close your eyes to focus more inwards. And we will start slowly and then maybe later on we will be building up, the speed, the pace that we will have the exhales a little bit faster. So let's start fairly slow. Once you are comfortable, try to speed it up a bit. Slow down your breath again. Observe what has shifted in your body. Now back to our slow, calming breaths in and out through the nose. Okay, open your eyes and let's begin. So you can lie down on the mat. Bring both legs so the feet are facing up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands back behind your head. And we will be alternating the legs, putting one leg at a time down towards the mat. First, on the inhale, lift the upper body up, so already engaging the core. And now, bring the right leg down and up. Switch legs, down and up. Few more time like this. Hold here. One last round, the right leg down and up. Left down And back up, release the upper body, maybe bring the knees towards your chest, rock from side to side to release the abdominals. Place your feet on the mat, about hip-width distance apart. The feet are close to your hips. The hands, the arms are resting alongside your body. And on the inhale, bring the hips up. And we will stay here for a few breaths. Make sure the knees are not opening to the side, so squeeze the inner thighs together. Keep pressing into the feet to bring the hips even higher. And slowly release. Squeeze the knees towards the chest once more time. Bring the knees back, the feet on the mat. And now cross the right ankle over your left knee. The right knee is open. And then bring the left leg towards your chest. So the right leg is flexed. And the tailbone is staying grounded into the mat. Deep breaths. Make sure you are not tensing up through your shoulders, neck. A little bit of arm strength is required, but just as much that it helps you to bring the leg closer to your belly. Feel the sensation in your hip, releasing any tension, getting rid of any stiffness, both physical but also emotional. Release, bring the left leg on the mat, and we will switch sides. So now the left ankle is crossing over the right knee, and bring the right leg towards the chest, towards the belly. Maybe remember once more the intentions you have set for this lunar month. Think whether you have already started implementing some changes. And what still needs improvements. It's also a great time to do changes, so they might come easier to you during this period of time. You might be more open to new opportunities, to new possibilities. So maybe if you have been thinking for a long time about trying something new, now it's the time. Release the legs and sway all the way up, and we will come into the tabletop pose on hands and knees. So the hands are directly under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, and we will do a few rounds of cat and cow. So on the inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze up. And on the exhale, round and contract, push into the ground. Inhale, look up. And exhale, round. Few more like this with your own breath. Last round. Release. And the knees and the hips will stay exactly as they are. We will just bring the hands forward into puppy stretch. So you can straighten the arms and place your forehead onto the mat. Make sure that still the lower belly is slightly engaged, so you are not collapsing through your spine. So keep it engaged and more focus on the shoulders and opening in the chest. Now slide forward onto your belly. The hands go into, the arms go into the 90-degree angle, and we will stay in Sphinx pose. So push the shoulder blades together, look forward, maybe close your eyes if you are okay with that. And feel the heart expanding from side to side, front to back. Imagine it has plenty of space to grow, to give, to receive. Push into the feet, into the pubic bone to lift a bit higher. Release. And from here we will come into our first downward facing dog. So the feet are about hip width distance apart, the hands about shoulder width distance apart. You can paddle the feet. It's our first down dog, so let's not expect miracles. Now emphasize the length in your spine. The head is heavy. Bend your knees if it will help you to keep the spine long. Now with small steps, bring the feet to meet the hands. Grab the opposite elbows and rock a bit from side to side. Release the lower back, stretching into the back of the legs. Head is heavy, neck is relaxed. Release the hands, bend the knees even, and come all the way up, straight the arms up. And release, the hands go in front of the heart. So from here we will take our vinyasa a few times. So on the inhale, look up, raise the arms up, and fall down. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale into plank, stay in plank for one breath. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Again, bring the feet to meet the hands. Bend the knees and roll all the way up. Raise the arms up. Bring the hands into the heart center. Let's do it again. Arms go up. Inhale. Exhale. Fall down. Halfway lift. Flat back. Exhale into plank. Chaturanga. Inhale. Upward facing dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths again. Come forward. Bend the knees. Rise the arms up. And release. So we will take our flow one last time, but this time I will not be giving you cues, so you can just follow your own pace, your own breath, and really turn inward. So we will just meet at some time in our downward facing dog. So we should all be in our downward facing dog by now. And now with the flowing motion, we will be coming into plank and then back in downward facing dog. So on the inhale, come forward into plank. And exhale, back up. 2 more like this. Plank. Down dog. Last one. Inhale into plank. And downward facing dog. Raise your right leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip. Keep pressing the left heel down to the mat. And now bring the leg forward. We will come into warrior 2. So the back leg is spinning and it's parallel to the shoulder edge of the mat. The front knee bends generously and open the arms to the side. So the arms are strong as well, they are engaged. Try to look forward towards the middle finger. Strong foundation here, feel both feet grounding into the mat, rooting into the mat. Now let's interlace our fingers behind the back. We will come into humble warrior. So on the inhale, look up. And on the exhale, dive in next to the right leg. Try to release the shoulders. It will also allow your hands to move further. Come back up, back to warrior 2. Now reverse the warrior, so the right arm goes up and over. Back to warrior 2. Now place your right hand, right elbow onto the right knee and bring the left arm up and over, extended side angle. If you want, you can go with the hand also all the way down onto the mat or stay here on the knee. Back to warrior 2. Straighten the front leg, so both legs are straightened. Reverse once more with the straightened leg this time. Come back to center. And now we will come into triangle pose. So reach first with your right arm far as you can go, and then start bringing the right hand down, maybe onto the mat, maybe onto your shin, or even onto your calf, and look up. You should feel this in the legs, but also stretching into the side body. If it's not okay for your neck to look up, you can also be looking to the side. Now let's place the left hand on the mat, the right one as well. Bend the right knee and we will take our flow. So come into plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And let's repeat this sequence on the other side. So the left leg goes up, bend the knee. And bring the left foot forward into warrior two. So the back leg spins and the front knee is bent. Find your strength here. Everything is engaged from the toes up to your fingertips. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Now the other thumb will be on top. First, lengthen, and then on the exhale, dive forward. Come all the way up. Release the fingers, come back to warrior two. Reverse. Make sure there is still bend in the front knee. Back to center. Extended side angle. Back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Reverse once more. Back to center. And we will come into triangle pose. So first, reaching with our left arm forward and then placing it down on the shin or on the mat. And the right arm goes up, facing towards the ceiling. Spin the right arm down, bend the front knee, come into plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Now come forward into plank. And we will come into side plank. So you can roll the feet onto the sides, onto the edges. And you can stay here if this is already enough. Or you can stack the left foot over the right one and maybe reaching your left arm up. Pushing the hips away from the mat, engaging the abdominals. And stay here if you like, or bring the right foot behind into wild thing, opening the heart area. Release, come back to plank. And bring the right knee behind the right wrist into pigeon. So the right ankle goes behind the left wrist. Straighten the front leg, the left leg, sorry. And then first lengthen here. Make sure that you are not leaning into one side more than the other. And then you can fall down, maybe onto the mat or onto your arms, or here a prop can come in handy. Maybe placing it under your chest, under your forehead. Just take the time to adjust, and we will rest in the pose for 10 breaths. Relax the shoulders, the neck. Release from the hips anything that doesn't serve you anymore. Slowly come back up, and we will come back into our downward facing dog. So maybe do any movements that feel good here. Maybe you can also do some hip circles to release the hip. And we will do the strength sequence on the other side this time. So come forward into plank. Now turn onto the left, maybe with the feet both on the ground, or stacking the right one over the left one into the side plank. Stay here or come into wild thing. So place the right foot onto the ground, bring the right arm back and open the chest. Keep pressing the hips up towards the ceiling. Come back into plank. And we will come into pigeon on the other side. So the left knee goes behind the left wrist. And no worries if the shin is not parallel to the shoulder edge of the mat. That's really not important here. Just make sure that your hips are squared. And lower down. Or maybe if you have enough sensation already when you are up, stay up. That's also completely fine. Just choose the variation that serves you. 10 breaths here. Come back into our last Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come back into our last downward facing dog. Again, any movements that feel good here. And lower your knees onto the mat and come back, lie down on the backs. Bring the knees to the chest, rock from side to side. Maybe a few circles with the knees to release the lower back. And once you are ready, find your way into Shavasana. So take as much space as you need. The palms are facing up. Slowly come back to your natural breath. And observe what has shifted in your body, what has been released. Does your chest feel more open? Heart open for new possibilities? And maybe think of the intentions, not only for today, but for the few days that you have ahead. What could you take from this practice off the mat and incorporate it into your day-to-day life? Take these last moments to dive into your intuition and just see what comes up. Bring back some movement into your toes, into your fingers. Move your head from side to side. Stretch out long. Then roll onto one side. Maybe you can keep the eyes closed. And come back to the seated position where we started. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Then we will seal this practice with the chant of Om one time together. So take a deep inhale to chant. Namaste. Thank you so much for doing this practice with me. Maybe if something has come up for you, it's a good idea to grab a journal and just write all these ideas or anything, any insights that came to you down. And sometimes for me, when there is some decision to make, Maybe I have two options, I don't know which one to choose from. I just let it sit for a while, I let go, I don't think about it, I don't try to find a solution, and then after a few days I find out that it just comes to me. I'm like, okay, I know, this is the one. So sometimes you don't have to really like go for it, just let it go for a bit and see. Maybe your perspective will shift, maybe it will give you an insight from a different angle. Just a hint, or from my experience. And please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you practicing with me soon, maybe the next week that we will be doing another one of the lunar cycle. Have a wonderful day. Bye!